This is the Garden of Gethsemane. It is, it's just a simple garden that looks like exactly like it does in the Passion of the Christ. It's just, olive trees, some gravel. And it's packed full of people apologizing to God, right? The fruit of the mystery is sorrow for sin. In his anguish, he prayed with all the greater intensity, and his sweat became like drops of blood falling to the ground. Then he rose from prayer and came to his disciples, only to find them asleep, exhausted and weak. Interestingly enough, olive trees live much longer than people, right? So these olive trees were about maybe only 3 or 4 generations ago, were the actual olive trees that he may have leaned against, right? So people go there and try and touch the trees just to connect with that sorrowfulness and that repentance. And we found that this particular location was very peaceful. Although it was stuffed full of pilgrims from all over the world, all kinds of Christians, Protestants, Catholics, Orthodox. People were very quiet, very respectful. The second sorrowful mystery is the scourging of the pillar. Pilate's next move was to take Jesus and have him scourged. John chapter 19. This is the house of the high priest Caiaphas. So, what were Jesus' crimes? Blasphemy, right? You can't go around saying that you're equal to God. That's that's a big no-no. Unless, of course, you're right, which then that makes it not a crime. But from Caiaphas' perspective, this is a terrible crime. In fact, it was so serious that they couldn't convene the Sanhedrin at the temple. They thought that was too risky, so they actually went to Caiaphas' home on the top of Mount Zion. And so Mount Zion is sort of on the other side of Jerusalem, and it's sort of separate from downtown Irvine. And I thought that it was strange that we built a church on top of Caiaphas' house. Why would we do that? The fruit of the mystery is purity, right? So we're coming close to the crucifixion, right? We're getting closer, and it's important to not forget what happened, but keep everything in mind, not just the good parts, right? And so you go here and you think about all these images and these mosaics around this church are images of Jesus suffering, right? And that's on us, right? We're the ones who commit sin, and so he has to take the blame for us. The third sorrowful mystery is the crowning with thorns. Again, this is in Caiaphas' home. They stripped off his clothes and wrapped him in a scarlet military cloak. Weaving a crown out of thorns, they fixed him on his head and stuck a reed in his right hand. Matthew 27. So it almost keeps getting worse, right? It gets sadder and sadder as you go around this lap of the rosary, right? But the fruit of this mystery is courage. Courage. It looks like Jesus is losing, right? But he's winning. And they mock him, that you're a king, right? Okay, well, then you should act like a king. Well, that's what a king acts like, according to Christianity. So, to remind us of that, there's this beautiful cross on the top of the church, and it looks down on us. And I just admire the artwork that they did to help that place be more holy. So we step out onto the porch, right? Now we're on Mount Zion. We're looking towards downtown Jerusalem. Again, this is the destination, right? This is where we're headed. That's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Okay, the fourth sorrowful mystery is the carrying of the cross. And carrying the cross by himself, he went out to what is called the place of the skull, in Hebrew, Golgotha, John chapter 19. Patience is the fruit of this mystery. He would have had to have walked down past the Garden of Gethsemane, which is, by the way, down over here, next to the graveyard. He would have had to walk down through this valley of bones, all the way back up to the hill which Jerusalem is situated on, through the gate, all the way through this crowded city with these narrow streets, people yelling, people screaming, people selling things. There's animals. It's very, very chaotic. And when you go on one of these tours, you can actually walk the way of the cross. This is one meditation that Christians can use to experience that final 3 days of Jesus' life. It's called the Via Dolorosa, meaning the way of the cross.
Do you know how long it is? It's a distance.
I'm going to go with a mile, maybe 2 miles. Depending on, do you want to go through all stations of the cross or just a couple? Then because you go, you turn around. It's a Middle Eastern city, right? So the streets are about 10 feet wide. That's it. Like no cars or anything. So he's carrying a cross. It's very chaotic, and of course the fruit of the mystery is patience. Good Christian faith does not happen overnight. You have to carry your cross every day, right, and get better each day. So finally, we arrive at the fifth sorrowful mystery, the crucifixion. Jesus uttered a loud cry and said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." After he said this, he expired. Luke chapter 23. So this is it. This is our spot in Jerusalem. This is the tomb of Christ Jesus. Do you believe that Christ was laid there in that tomb? That's not so hard to believe, right? It's next to the tomb of the family of Joseph of Arimathea, and their remains are in that tomb. I mean, they've long since decayed, but there's other evidence. There's written documents, etc. So that's pretty simple. The Bible says that Joseph of Arimathea helped him carry the cross for a little bit, and then he was the one that came to help wash Jesus' body and lay him in the tomb. Perseverance is the fruit of this mystery. Now here's the tricky part. The tomb is empty, right? There's no one there.